Did the Bell Star for a while, and needed somewhere to grow to. I was working at the Mount Vernon News, and online or print news is struggling. It's getting more and more costly to produce newspapers. As I was telling somebody earlier, that our publisher down in Mount Vernon was delivering the papers because it's cost of gas for people delivering routes. The number of people you deliver a route to is smaller. So I was watching that industry thinking, this is struggling. And I decided to move back home to the Belleville area. And I heard about Richland Source. They were looking for people. And I thought, there's no other news but the newspaper here in Richland County, but sometimes when you really want a new opportunity, that's when you're ready for an adventure. So I went and applied, and I got hired as a senior staff reporter. So I was going to do all local news. I was going to do the writing. I love to write. And about a week later, I was the editor. And I'm the managing editor because I'm the only one with our group that has any prior journalism experience. So it's been a whirlwind since last June of training people and getting us up and running. We had a mandate before we launched on June 24th. We were supposed to have 350 stories ready to publish. And I had a team of about 5 reporters that were all English majors that didn't know much about how to report news. Some of these folks know about journalism uses a pyramid style where you put all your lead important information at the top of the story and you trickle it down to the smaller stuff. I had to train all these folks. We didn't have 350 stories in the bin, but our published date was fixed, so we launched, and 350 is not realistic. We actually run about 20 stories at a time that I can pull from to publish. Richland Source started with Carl Ferniak. Do you know that name, the Ferniak name? John Ferniak, his father, owns much of downtown Mansfield, the buildings, we are located in one of his buildings. We're located at 21 Temple Court, which is right downtown. We wanted to be in the heart of downtown so we can disperse and get out quickly and where we need to be and be a focal point. And the coffee is always on, and if you have a story to tell, you're welcome to come up and have coffee with us and give us some story leads. And that's why I gave you my business card if you have story leads. They pretty much mostly come through me. So, Carl, John's son, owns MT Technologies. And MT Technologies used to be Mansfield Typewriter. They dropped the Mansfield Typewriter because they've evolved just like everybody else, just like news is evolving. And so now they're more into sales and service, copiers. And Carl was frustrated with the local news because he is a businessman. And he wants to see business and economic development in the county. And if you're a visitor and you want to start a business and you come to Richland County to check it out and see what kind of facilities we have, which, as you all know, Richland County has lots of empty facilities. We have places for business to grow into. And you pick up the local paper. Let's see what this community's like. And you pick up the local paper, and it was invariably top of the fold, something bad's happening. Whatever it is, something bad's happening. And he tried to be a voice for change, and he wasn't heard. So he said, I think I'll just do it my way. So he got his board of directors to get behind us, and we launched Richland Source. And his idea was that we are going to promote, that's our mission, is to promote and connect Richland County. We want it to be a positive force. And yes, we are rather upbeat. It's not that we avoid the news. Matter of fact, there was a crime story in Shelby, and one of my reporters showed up, and she said, I got there, and the other guys said, what are you doing here? Because why would you be reporting crime? And she's a little sassy. She says, well, it's not all rainbows and unicorns. We can't just report only the bright side of the news, because then you're not realistic. So we do report the not so bright side, but we try to take a twist on it. If there's a crime that involves one person, we're not probably going to report it unless we can give something back to the community. We're about giving to the community. So we try to, for example, if we do a suicide, we want to share that there's resources there for people that are involved, that, you know, the families that are impacted. But we did do a suicide recently, and I struggled, I wrestled with how to report it, and we decided not to disclose the name. We knew the name and a lot of details, and we decided that wasn't our mission to broadcast this family's grief. So we chose not to. We just acknowledged that it happened, and we're taking a different slant with news. We're promoting. We're about business and the good things. We did the Lions Club, so we're in our news thanks to Demery. Demery's one of our freelancers. We're trying out a whole new way of operating. We're online, which we recognize a lot of folks want that piece of paper to hold, and me included. I like paper, but I also have every paper I ever wrote for, every issue. I have stacks like this, and now I can store it on the cloud. The internet has the cloud out there where you just send your stuff out there for storage, and I can pull it up whenever I want. So I'm really getting behind the online thing. It's kind of attractive. So we realize that our readership is going to have to go online. We save printing costs. Our operation is we're in a small sliver of a building, and my office actually is right there over there in that table. It's my computer. I can publish from home. As long as I have internet connection, I can publish our news and get it up on our site wherever I'm at. So if there's a snowstorm and Rhonda doesn't feel like driving to work, I could crack open the laptop. Of course, usually I'm out there trying to take pictures of the snow. I help out as I can. The flooding, I have a unique insight into when it's going to perhaps happen down here in Belleville, so I was the first on the scene with the last flood.
Snow rolls,
Snow rollers, and I track, we can see how many page views we have, we can see what people are responding to, commenting on. So I study that, what people are reading, and the snow rollers, all the winter weather. We had ice pillars, snow rollers, there was one more. We did a story on hoarfrost. Those unique phenomena, people like that stuff. I was just telling Demery, she did a story over in Lucas on an old building that it was called Liquid, and it was a nightclub, and for some reason that story had an astronomical number of page views. And the only thing I could
wish I
think...
knew why. Why it did so good. So we repeat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the story was all.
Yeah. I know.
Rich and source.
That was my story.
So we're promoting and connecting. We're trying to encourage folks to be proud of Richland County, because we have a lot of great things here. We have a staff currently of only 2 full-time reporters in the office, 1 part-time, and looking to add probably another one. But then we have 17 correspondents or freelancers like Demery. There's folks that write for us and we pay them per article. So I try to give them the hard articles because I don't pay them for their time. It works out well. Their pictures, we did a study on what the costs were for what people were getting paid for photos, and so we try to be competitive so that we can attract folks to do our stories. We're way ahead of what the board expected us to be, as in page views, revenue. Are we making a profit? No, not yet. And if anybody's ever been involved with a startup, you don't. And one of the things that's hurting us is we have no subscriptions. You can go on our site and see everything for free. You won't get a pop-up that says, you get a limited number of articles, or here, see half of this article, and then you can see. We don't do that. It's all free. So we're reliant on advertising for revenue. And I don't think that's the answer in the long run. There may be another model, and I'm always brainstorming, so if you got any ideas about, we're like considering maybe being a 501c, because all we want to do is write about our county and the things that are happening. We have a company out of Indiana that produces our site. Our site, I'm really proud of it. It's a real professional, clean, easy to navigate place. And this company in Indiana provides that. And there's myself as the editor, and I have a co-editor, and we just kind of fill in the holes. I don't know what else to tell you. Social. That's the new thing with news too. Anybody social media fans? Chris likes Facebook.
We're both on it.
What other social media?
Twitter.
Twitter.
I'm just learning to tweet.
I'm just learning to. Actually, I've gone. It's an addiction. Oh my gosh, Twitter is so fun. Twitter is my new news feed, actually, because here's what you do. You set up a Twitter account. You can only tweet 140 characters at a time. And that's just, like, Rhonda's kind of verbose, and I like to write a lot too. And how can I say what I want to say in 140 characters? Well, it's a game. You like Scrabble? I love Scrabble. In a way, it's like playing Scrabble. But it's my news feed, because what you do is you pick who you follow. You research, like I can pick any of the major news agencies, anybody I want to follow. I'm following most of Ohio's politicians, Democrat and Republican, because I need to be in contact with them for news. And plus, I realize that people are looking at who I follow, and I'll be darned if anybody thinks I'm biased in my news reporting. So you won't know what you could, but mostly you won't know what my slant is. You follow individuals, so I'm looking to connect with, if anybody has Twitter accounts, I'm looking for those connections, because those are possible news leads, those are possible readers that will come back and read our pages. So you get these 140 character notices. Twitter, just line after line after line of somebody's tweet, and it has a connection to it. You can link to a page, and so if they've hooked me with what they wrote in that 140 characters, I can click on it and go to, I've been following the Malaysian airliner. That's been a curiosity for me, and I read something about why people are so interested in that. And I just think it's incredible, mind-blowing, that with all our technology, we can't find an airplane. It just blows my mind, so I'm intrigued. I can pull up anybody's story on that. Twitter, you pick what you want to read, whether it's it's amazing. But then it's got all these little things. You've got to tweet at somebody, and you do a hashtag to be in a conversation. And I recently saw, you can talk to people as you're tweeting. I recently saw a social media marketing person sign, they had done something that intrigued me. And so I decided I had something to say to her, so I tweeted back at her. She answered me. And not only did she answer me, but people liked what I said. And I ended up with like 20 more followers than I had originally, because people were liking what I had to say. And so now I have this social media marketing group, and I'm like, okay, I'm not really a marketing person. How do I keep these people intrigued? So I'm now balancing myself between sharing our news on our site and conversing with these folks. But Twitter is very fun. We're doing it to disseminate our news. Just like social media, we have a Facebook page too. You can go on Facebook and look for Original Source, and we're there. We don't share everything. You strategically schedule stories, like when you think people will be reading, what stories you think they'd be interested in, and you schedule them and post them. And they're led to our site, because you click on the story, and it takes you to our site. We hope that people will then get on our site and go further and get hooked on reading us. But we've grown by leaps and bounds. Dean can vouch for me. I miss family events. I'm really, really bad because I go to work. I work until 5. I go home. I take a break, and I end up going back to work because my computer is in my lap, and I publish and look for story leads, and I just have become kind of like Richland's source. But it's promoting and connecting and sharing good stuff, and if you got any story leads, we'd love to hear them. Love to have you check us out. Send us story leads. Got any questions about what we do? Or we just went to, have you ever heard of Sundown Rundown? There's lots of weird things happening in the world today. There's Cha is where people can get up and share within 5. You've got 4 minutes to talk about a picture and share what you're doing. Well, Sundown Rundown is kind of on the same premise where entrepreneurs who are promoting their businesses can get up and talk about their business, and they have, I forget how many minutes Sundown Rundown does, but I realized when I was at the last one that we are entrepreneurs. We're trying to figure out how to do news differently, how to do it better, and how to connect. And it's been an adventure. And I'm still hooked, even though I get really tired. I'm still hooked. Demery was saying, she's like, yeah, I see your messages at 1:30 in the morning.
On a Sunday.
I work a lot, but I think if you know what a startup's like, that's pretty typical, that you're drilling it down and getting it squared away. Questions? Check us out. Enjoy us. Tell us what you want to read. We want people to tell us, hey, I really love that story. Do more like that. I will get on it because I'll be sending somebody out to follow your
The
lead.
email's Rhonda@richlandsource.com.
That's me.